All right, so we're in and we're set up. It's time to take it apart. We're going to use the tools provided. This radio has 4 screws that's holding it in. There's one here, and there's 2 behind this here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop out this plastic piece here. Sounds scary, but it's just some clips. So it shows our first screw right there. Now over here, this piece pops off. See, we don't have push button start in this one, it's key. So we don't have to worry about the push button, but if yours does, all you're going to do is just move it out of the way. You see, popping that off has actually helped us, and it's popped the heater AC controls out. So we're just going to let those hang down. Then this piece comes on off. Just set it on the dash. Now we're going to remove our 4 screws. And magnetic tipped screwdrivers help. Alright, there are 4. Now I'm not going to leave them here because we're going to have wires and stuff hanging out. So I'm just going to set these in the cup holder. Well, the radio should just pop right out of the dash. Just like that. Now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 plugs on the back. I'm just going to unplug them. Little tab there you got to press. So that's the back. Now we're going to hang on to this because we may need these attachment brackets, and we may need these here to go on the new parts. So let's take a look at what comes in the box. Star of the show is the radio. So there is the unit plastic cover that we'll get to take off after we install. A user manual. You got RCAs and video inputs, outputs. This looks like a GPS antenna. A USB in there. Normally there's a USB that's dedicated to CarPlay, and there's a USB that can be used for like audio and video, like saved. Let's see, what is this? This looks like a backup camera, possibly. Yes, there's a backup camera. And here are a lot of the other. There's a CAN bus decoder there. And also trim tools. And those will be important because there are some panels that we've got to pop off in there. So let's get all this back together. Let's get ready to install. Alright, so I'm just going to set the radio up on the dash. If you want a sneak peek of what it would look like. And that was the horn. And that's going to be real nice. Okay, mount the blow horn again. Now, if you want to look at this, you can, which I probably ought to. Most of these plugs will be self-explanatory when you take them out. There are a lot of them. But you know what? I'm going to take a minute and look at this. So you can see there are labels. So I'm just going to see what fits what. Maybe I was doing it the right way. So these two are the same. All right, so the instructions didn't say which plugs go where. So being this has the CAN bus, this is what links the car to the wiring for the radio, the new radio. So these are the same. One has a lot more wires than the other. So it makes me think that these are just audio. I'm going to test everything before I put the car back together. But I'm going to put the one with all the wires here into that one. There. There's for USB. Yeah, these are old style. That goes in here. No, it does not. This will be the radio antenna. This says X-Trail Klashki Rogue or Ultima. But that doesn't fit. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I am plugging in things on the back of the radio just so I will know what goes where. Sometimes with these, that's the easiest thing to do. I'm going to plug this one in even though I'm not going to run it out. So it doesn't get lost. See what else we got down here. This will be the rear view camera. Alright, these are all, see, there's video, back in video. See that one here. Auxiliary audio in. here. A microphone somewhere. GPS. Just hook it up and we'll run it. I thought that there was a microphone with this. CAN bus plug. Okay, let's see what we got. Does this work? We have power. Radio scanning. Plug in the radio antenna. I can hear static. Okay. Oh, it sounded right. Of course, this is probably not, yes, not connected. Okay, so we have power, we have sound, and that is what we need. Now I'm going to unplug some of these back here because I didn't start with the tabs from the old radio to this one. Alright, there's GPS, I'll have to run it. But you know, she's this owner's going to be using CarPlay. CarPlay has maps, so she won't need that. Alright, I know you couldn't see what I just did, but if you'll look, there are two little tangs that grab a hold of these. So you've got to press on the back of both sides to get them out of there. So I'm just going to do that. And then we'll pick back up I'm going to install them on here, just like so. They go on easier than they came off. So by the looks of it back here, I don't think we're going to need the mounts off the old radio. This is surely not as heavy as that one. So here's one thing that I'm going to do, is I'm going to go ahead and run this USB here. That is for the CarPlay. And the original one comes right down here. Unplug this and get it out of the way. That's what I needed to do right there. USB that it had. I hate leaving that as a block there with a cord hanging out of it. Seems a little wide for the All right, so I'm going to verify that this is the CarPlay wired hookup, even though we're going to use the wireless CarPlay. Still want to have it as a backup because I need to modify, I need to trim the plastic off these sides to get them to go into the plate that I've been working with that snaps in down there. So I'm taking it down. Okay, this was the 4-pin USB that I did not unhook. That is the one that works for wired CarPlay. So I'm glad I tested it. So that's the one I'm going to skin back and use in that to make it work in this here. That way it looks factory. Let's get back to work. Okay, so I got it to work. See, I shaved these ends down, and there were little lines on the side, and I shaved it to the very back of them. So that way it would slip right in here. And I know it isn't straight. All right, so the piece where I pulled the USB out of here, that was on the back side. This little bit I left is actually enough to grab a hold and be tight inside this housing here. So when you put this on, like it was, it pinches it right in there. And you can plug in and look like your stock. Auxiliary isn't going to work, but I'll plug it in so at least the wire's back there. But that's a little something you can do on your own with a flat razor blade. Just trim it back, be careful. And I'm going to click this back in there, run that back up top, and we should be able to put this dash back together. Plug it back in its spot. It is the 4-prong and the 6-prong. I'll probably run over here towards the glove box. All right. Push the wiring in. Well, you know, one thing I didn't check was reverse camera. I'm going to just check it as it is. Video signal. Okay, maybe I got it in the wrong spot. Video in. Reverse the video in. Yep, had it wrong. Plug. Easy to do. There's so many back here. Well, look at there. Okay. Put a hawk. Beef everything out. Okay, so here's a rundown. I used the cord with the most wires to go into the factory plug from the car. This one, there was only one. You can see we got this extra over here. It only has a couple in it. Didn't use that. This pink one, I don't know if that's GPS for the cars that have GPS. This does not, so we're not using that. And we're not using this. That's the USB. And we're not using this. I'm not sure what that was, but there's no plug for it. And as of right now, everything that we need works. So that's what we're going to go with. And we're going to put everything back where it goes. There we go. Radio is clicked in. Put this panel back where it was supposed to be. Push in our factory looking auxiliary or USB. We're going to get AC, plug it back in. Now there's one thing I'm going to do is these screws that came out of the dash, you can't really, I mean, you could tape them to the old radio, but I'm going to put these screws back where they were. So even though the bracket does not hold this radio in, it still holds plastic down a couple spots. I don't want anything rattling. There we go. This goes back in first because the heater clicks into it. There's a little tab here. When you push this in, make sure it goes there. Push in your heater. There we go. Alright, since my phone is recording, I can't hook it up to show you anything. So this has unknown music. I don't know if it'll play anything. Seems like it doesn't. That would be your play screen. Go back to home. Bluetooth. I guess that would be where there's your pin, where it would look for devices. This is for your video. Now that's for that USB I sent into here. So if you had a thumb drive in it that had movies or music, you could do that. Okay. amplifier. So all that can be adjusted. I'll probably do that when I'm done with the video, because I won't be able to play it for you anyway. And you can see I've been hitting the little house here. That's home. There's actually a back one there. You can go a screen back. There's actually a house here or back here. And YouTube's already here, so all you have to do is log in. There's the radio. That's basically it. It is not September 1st. It's almost the end of the year. So I'm getting it to connect to my phone now. Oh, that hooked up. Yeah, I was listening to Jimmy Buffett. All right, let's go to here.
Your battery is low.
Yep, it's my battery. It is low. All right, so CarPlay comes up. I am wireless. Let's see, there's no cord down there. Nice. So the source button does work. It was just kind of sticky. And I didn't even have to program these.
A small plane crashes in a DeKalb County neighborhood on Sunday morning, shocking nearby residents like DeWitt King, who tells Atlanta.
So this is my first time doing this one in this car, 2015 Rogue. Overall, it isn't hard to do. Seeing all the wires and deciphering it, and with instructions that aren't really good, it's just kind of plug it in and see what happens. And turns out I plugged it in and most everything worked. Now the USB, I'm glad I tested that, because that'd have been aggravating if I had to take the dash back apart. But this is a good little radio. This came off of Amazon. If you're interested in getting one for your Rogue, I'll drop a link. And it does send the channel back a little bit of money when we put it towards other projects. So thank you for watching. If you got any questions, you can put them down in the comments, and I try to respond to every comment that I get. And that way remains a helpful channel, because we are here to help you with your projects. So remember, if your wrench doesn't work, use a hammer.